Welcome back. So now we've actually going into making this split keyboard into a more useful one by flashing a decent layout for it. So let me just like summarize where we were a little bit previously. So let me just go to the work screen. So where this board comes from, the Semaphore, is from 40% Club, where we've got this 5x6 keyboard, but the Semaphore is not the first 5x6 keyboard. If I go to keybio and actually look at the Nyquist, they also have a 5x6 keyboard, which obviously is designed a little bit differently. The focus is different, but we can actually get a lot of inspiration from the keymap for this to bring it into our Blue Micro firmware. So if I go into the Q&K firmware and have a look at the default keymap for the Nyquist, I actually get this file here. So what we're going to be using essentially is the same layout for the QWERTY, for the lower, raise, and the adjust layers. So let's take this as our starting point for our keyboard. So let's go here and go into our key map. So remember, we've got to take into consideration left, right, and the master. The master is just a test configuration, so we won't be changing any of it. Now, if you saw what we did earlier, we had the left and the right completely done independently, unlike for QMK, which the master holds the entire layout for both halves. In the Blue Micro, each half contains its own configuration. So that means the left doesn't know which keys are programmed where on the right. So we could completely mix and match even like sizes or keyboards between the two sides. So let's go into the left side and see what we can do here. So let's get our key map here on here. So let's just kind of copy this for reference and go there. So let's just make a bit of room and let's just make sure we've got this all commented out and paste. So all this is commented out. This is the layout that we want to have. It's actually pretty simple. What we can do is just like copy, paste, and adjust what we need to adjust for what we need to do. So let's just take all of this, copy. This is the left, so paste. Now we gotta stop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So everything here disappears. And I gotta remove this last comma there. Now, one thing to remember, we've got lower and adjust here. So what we have to do is map these out to layers. Okay, so that's a to-do that we need to do. Then there's the right. So let's go and carry that on to the right. So copy and do the same paste magic. Now we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're gonna delete everything before. And let's just do this. There, it all lines up. So this maps out relatively well, except for those layers, the raise, and then so on. So that's good. So now let's go and move on to making these adjustments here. So adjust and lower, we need to define these two. Let's go into the key map here. So you can see we've got QWERTY layer 1, 2, 3. Now let's just go and see how we've actually used these in the past for other keyboards. So let's go, for example, the ergo travel, and then we've got, you see I got layer 1, layer 3, so on. Okay, let's do it this way. So what we can do here is when we go to our semaphore here, so what we can do is define what we want to QWERTY, and then this is going to be the QWERTY is actually nothing to, we don't have to do anything, but it's the other ones that we need to do something. For example, adjust, copy, one, and we're going to go to lower and then raise. And we're just, to make it simpler, I think lower, layer 2, put that as layer 3 here. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what these are for. I don't remember. So let's just go back to our keymap here. Let's go lower, adjust, raise, and so on. Okay, so we've got our 3 layers. So now what we need to do, and then the raise here. So what we need to do is set up the keymap in here. So in the master there's none, but in here there are keymaps that we need to take care of. So let's go and take an example from a different keyboard. What we need to do is take the example here, set up keymap, layer 1 with the magic here, layer 2, and then layer 3. And then we need to do some magic here. So now this matrix row column, this essentially, and there's the level 1, level 2, level 3. We will need to do this. Copy. I'll really need to change that to Control C. So that's a keymap here on the ergo travel. So let's go keymap to the semaphore. We know we need to paste that here. And we need to create those keymap for the other layers. So let's go back to here. Got layer 3, layer 2, layer 1. Let's just do that. Copy. Just to get something going here. Got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Let's just do like this. 3, 2, 1. So, and then that maps out to these layer 1, 2, 3 here. So what did we have earlier? So we said, no, not here. I can close this one. Keymap dot, close this one. This is the one. So we had lower as layer 1. So let's go to the example here. Lower, so this is the lower here. So let's just take all of this as the lower, copy, and to our keymap of this one here. So let's just paste it here. So this is layer 1, lower. Now, if you look carefully, we've got tilde, at, ash. So the first is okay. Next one is fine. The next one is fine. Now we've got some funky functions here that QMK uses. We won't be able, I suspect we won't be able to use that. And then there's the media keys for the volume up, volume down. I'm not too sure what this one here, but this might be, yeah, media next and then media play or something like that. So these media keys, I know in Blue Micro we do not have configured yet. So we'll have to essentially just set as not configured. But everything else, I believe we can use more or less as is. So let's copy this, copy, and then we've got layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 for the left hand side. So let's do that. So Control V. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we delete everything after. 3, 4. Okay, so we've got one done. So let's just do that again, but for the other side. I guess let's just wait till they're ready. So this is layer 1, layer 2, and then this is equal to, which one did we say? Raise. So let's very similarly do the same thing on raise. Copy. Copy. And then layer 2, we've got to essentially change this one. 1, 2, 6, and then everything faster goes. Else after. Remember, we're gonna remove these last trailing semicolon or commas there. Okay, so we're good. Let's go and do layer 3 right away. Layer 3 is our adjust layer. Now this one is gonna even have less, so copy here. Let's go layer 3, adjust, and then paste. Can go into layer 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and delete the end of it. Now you can see that there's actually a number of functions that are set up in the QMK that we do not have, like audio on, audio off, like the reset, RGB toggle, and so on. Now these don't exist quite yet in the Blue Micro firmware. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy this, and we're gonna go and paste all of those that we know do not have any functions set in the firmware. And let's just do this. 1, 2, 3. Copy. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Paste. I'll just remove the extra space, and we are good. Okay, so what you can see here, we've done the 3 layers that we had set. We haven't done the keymap or the Dvorak, but that'll be something for another day. Let's carry on. Now we've got the layers being defined, and then the activation on the regular press for layer 1, 2, 3 being defined, and nothing else. So now what we can do is copy that same configuration down for the other side. So okay, let me just simple void setup keymap, and it's that keymap function that we're looking for. So copy. Now that empty keymap function, we're going to go paste. And all that we need to do now is grab our different layers. Primary one is there, but then it's going to be layer 1, 2, 3 that we actually need to go and edit. So let's go and take layer 1, copy, right, layer 1, paste. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What that? So this is what we need to delete. Two, three, 6. Okay, any functions that we do not have existing? Yes, there are. There's a few. So let's go and select, copy these two. These two ones I know do not have any equivalent today. I do paste, copy. I gotta make sure we got the right numbers here. There we go. And then that's good. Good. Do this one. So we have nothing unusual here, so that's good. So layer 2. So let's go in here, layer 2. Copy. And go down. Layer 1, layer 2. 2. Line things up a bit more here. 2, 3, 5, 6. 2, 3. Okay, so now these are okay. So now these need to be adjusted. Yeah, macros in the wrong place are a bad habit. So paste, remove this one, and I just do this. Now the last one. And I think so we'll probably go into the next that after. Okay, so in here, so we've got layer 3, so now there's actually quite a lot of things that we'll be able to remove. The RGB, the switch to the different key maps, and then the case delete can actually remain. So let's just copy that and go all the way to the bottom, paste, so 6, delete, 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 delete. Now, with the exception of the delete, so okay, so what we can do, we can delete, copy, These 4 can go. These 4 can go. What else is good? Just out of curiosity, if you look back, these might actually be shifted keys. NUHS, NUBS, backslash HS, I don't know. So these are probably shifted keys, which is something we can actually do as well. I'll do that into another video with these modified keys. By I mean modified keys is like hold a modifier and a key at the same time. So we've got 3 layers, standard layout, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and then these get assigned to the different layers there. And then very similarly the same on the other one. So let's go and save all of this and see if it all compiles. And it's and we'll do a full compilation left, right, and master to confirm that it's all good. So left we're good. Master, which we haven't changed. And right is good. So let's go and flash this. So I just flipped around the boards and let's go to this here. Or do we want this? Let's go with this. So just like earlier, we're picking up our 2 wires, one for left, one for right. So the ground, this one here, this one does not go here, it goes here. So this is the left that will get flashed first. Let me make sure it's awake. So the left here, reset, send. Okay, so we undo this guy here to grab our right. So plug it again, and the little black goes here, like so. And now we're gonna go here. Right, there it is. Press the reset. Enter and release. Okay. So we are good. So let's flip this around. Now we've got, if you remember, 3 different layers that we can go and test. So let's go into our keyboard tester, which is right here. Do a reset on that. Now the first things first. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Looks good. Now let's go with the one of the layers. I think it's layer 3. F1, F2. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, it's doing funny things. It shouldn't pick all at this, all at F2. Okay, there's something wrong with the layers. Okay, let's go and see. double check one thing here. When I go into my configuration, it's the activation that are being sent. It's level layer 1. It's a press, press, and press, which is not any of the tap or hold or tap and double tap activations. So they should be working fine as is. And actually, I think I know exactly why we've actually got this problem. Let's go and make the change, because I know when we switch layer, and it actually sees that we're detecting the key. So let's just, I think I know exactly what the problem is. So we can see on the left hand side we've got lower and adjust here. So when we're in the lower, what we need to do is to keep telling it that we're in the lower. And when we're in the adjust, to keep telling it that we're in the adjust. So, so let's go here. So whenever layer 1 is lower, so let's go and pick that up. And let me just flip that around. Work screen. So let's fix that. So copy, lower, it goes into layer 1 at just under V or under F10 there. So just under F10 is where we need to put a, not the whole row, just lower here. Okay, this is how it keeps the layer toggle, you could say, or active whenever you keep pressing on that key. And that's what's been happening. So when we go into, so that's not lower here. I'm gonna go copy here, this goes here, paste. Now, the adjust is in that first one. So copy on the adjust here. So layer 1, layer 1, layer 2. So layer 1 is our lower. Layer 2 is our raise, which we don't see anything, and then layer 3 is adjust. So layer 3 here is adjust. Paste. Layer 2 is raise, which is not on this side. Lower, adjust, and now we need to go to the other side. So raise is under the M. Copy. So 1, 2. So and raise is layer 2, we said, right? Yeah. So layer 2 and layer 2, the second key. So raise is here. Paste. Layer 3 on the other side, there's nothing that activates it. Okay. So let's go File, Save All, and then compile everything again. We only need a Semaphore. There's a few keyboards that are out there. If we compile everything, it would take a while longer, 20 minutes. So we can flash this one first. We can get that prepared. Go to right, reset, enter, leave. Okay. Okay, so I can unplug this side. Where's the one here? Green, go there. Oh, sorry about that. I haven't shown you the flashing. So I flashed one side, now I'm flashing the other side. The left, press reset, Enter, release. Okay. So let's go and see what this looks like on the keyboard tester. And do a reset on it. And let's start typing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You gotta wake up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Backspace. And a tilde. Good. That's delete. Tab. That's good. Now let's play with layers. So this is 1. See? It's not doing anything special. When this is the other one, it's not happy, it looks like. Oh no, there it is. Where is it? There it is. I didn't remember all these characters. Okay. Now let's go with this one. See, there's a shift. And let's go here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, F1. So we've got this layer working fine. So this layer, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the backspace is backspace. Okay, and then this one. Yeah, let's see what that layer looks like, because I never remember what exactly it looks like. So that third layer is only the F keys all the way to the top, which is simple, isn't it? And then the delete here. So let's go and see that. So that third layer, which is our adjust here, is essentially 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, F1, and this is the delete key. Yeah, this is exactly as we programmed it. So why did it work now and not before? Okay. In firmware, what actually happens is when you're on the primary layer, it actually scans, and then whenever you press the layer key, it actually changes layer. So it actually needs to know on the other layer, like all the keys, like the other layer, it needs to know which to map to. Otherwise, it's going to keep jumping back and forth. And that's what was happening is when we had our layers set without, let's take the example, the either the raise here on the left hand side, like that lower key here. So if you look at that lower key, that maps out, and I don't see my, there you go, there's my cursor. So this lower here, if it was blank, this key here, when I press on it, it actually jumps from the QWERTY layer to layer 1, but if it doesn't know to stay on layer 1 as I keep pressing it, it would just jump back. And that's what was happening. So now with this, by saying lower, and then whenever it's in layer 1, it stays at lower, then we know that there's a key that keeps it held in place. Now, on a split keyboard, it's a little bit different, especially when we look at the other layer, at the layer 2. If you look at layer 2, there's nothing holding layer 2 in place on this half. So layer 2 is actually activated here, but because I keep pressing it, it holds this layer 2 on both halves, because there's communication between the boards at every like 20 milliseconds, or like relatively frequently between the boards. There's communication constantly happening. So that's why as I keep pressing, it keeps saying, yeah, I'm layer 2, layer 2, layer 2. And then when I release, then it kind of goes, yep, all clear. So that's why it was doing this this funny magic earlier, that it was jumping, it was like having a layer, and it was like sending 2 keys, because it was the repeat that was actually sending the 2 keys. But now with this program, with on the layer to keep it active, so on the left hand side the lower and the adjust, and on the right hand side the raise, then that means when we switch layer, it actually remains on that layer. There's also toggles we can do and so on, but I have not activated or done any of those right here. So there was a little bit of troubleshooting on this one, but we actually got the layers to work very, very similarly to what the QMK configuration has. Now let's have a look what these two mean, and then that shift that we've got on here. So I got a feeling that all we need to do here is a shift of those 2 keys. So let's go and have a quick look. What are those 2 keys? It's on layer 2. That's our raise. And then just above the arrows here. So let's go and have a look right here. So, slash. So there's 2 different slashes. And if I press the so I get a shift. There's nothing happening on this one. That's interesting. Okay. And actually, when I change layer, probably I need to have that shift active still on the other layers. Otherwise, as you can see, I've got the comma, but I've got a backslash, shift greater or equal, and then these are not doing anything, and these are not doing anything. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Why is it not doing anything here? There it is. Because I have nothing here. Okay. So let's see and figure out what those are. There you can see here right now, there is the ISO slash and the ISO pound. So that's what those funky characters are. Okay. So all we need to do is I'm not too sure if we have those set in Blue Micro, but these should be pretty easy. And see, there's the ISO tilde and the ISO pipe with these shifted ones. So what we can do is get those configured in the firmware if they're not already there. So we have configured our keyboard in a way that reflects very well with the configuration of the default configuration of the Nyquist. I did comment that we had to remove a few of the functions that QMK had, and this is something that we're looking to implement in the future. So right now we can't just bring them in as is, but as I indicate, we're going to bring those in. But if you don't use any of those functions, you can see you can actually have a pretty well functioning keyboard. For me, I know I can use this as a daily driver. I'm not that fast a typer, and it actually works very well. Okay, so well, this kind of completes our series on the Semaphore keyboard, at least as we can bring it for today. Keep an eye on the channel. We're going to be doing some configurations or more advanced configurations of key codes and key maps in the future. So keep an eye and subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified of any new videos coming out. There are builds, there's firmware, there's some tutorials, so there's a good mix. Thanks again. Bye.